Hello, and welcome to the lecture for Chapter 1, Why Public Speaking Matters Today. In this chapter, we are going to be talking about public speaking as a general idea, as this is really the first lecture of this class. So we're going to be talking about why public speaking still matters here in the 21st century, and what public speaking looks like in an everyday setting, as well as some of the benefits that you can get from a public speaking class, aside from earning a few GE units. So when it comes right down to it, a lot of communication, or a lot of things in the area of communication seem to be changing very, very quickly. We no longer send letters, for example, we text each other instead. But even with all of these changes in the way that we communicate with one another, public speaking is one of those things that continues to be relevant, even though the actions that we take when we are communicating with one another are changing so rapidly. So let's talk about public speaking in the 21st century. So when we're talking about public speaking, it's important to always define our terms. So public speaking, for the purposes of this class, is the process of designing and delivering a message to an audience. Now, when you are giving a public speech, it's important to understand not only who your audience is, but also what your own speaking goals are. And you have to choose elements of the speech that are going to engage your audience with the topic. You have to learn how to deliver your message skillfully, and hopefully we are going to be learning all of those skills as this class progresses. So we are going to learn how to plan to organize, or rather we're going to learn how to plan and organize our material and then present that revised material to an audience to deliver the most effective speech that we possibly can. Because public speaking isn't something that we can completely avoid, unfortunately, in our everyday lives. Most of us are probably going to end up in situations where we have to give a public speech, where we are asked to give a speech. So for example, let's say that you are a member of a wedding party. Let's say that you are the maid of honor or the best man at a wedding. It's expected that you give a speech about the bride or groom at that wedding. So public speaking is something that happens in our everyday life. So it's really, really important that we understand how public speaking works and how to be the most effective speakers that we can. So that's one of the reasons that public speaking is so important, because we are constantly given these opportunities to speak in public. And so we want to make sure that we can be the most effective speakers that we can be. But in addition to that, every single day, we are constantly bombarded by messages, whether that is a lecture that is given by a teacher, or if it's a dialogue that's given in a play or a monologue, or if it's something on a television show or even a commercial, right? We are constantly surrounded by messages, both good and bad. And because we live in a world that's so filled with content, we have to figure out how to communicate with each other in a way that is the most accessible to everyone involved, that communicates that information as clearly as possible. So that's what this class does. It allows us to be able to communicate information in the most clear manner that we can.